Hello, everyone. Welcome to our podcast and our first guest, Mr. Pasha Alvani.
Dr.
Pasha.
Yes, that was loud. Yes. Holy crap.
Dr. Pasha
I
Alvani.
hired 9 people to vacuum this up.
Devin?
How was the drive over?
It was good, man. I live in Coquitlam, so an hour drive early in the morning. It's 10 a.m. right now. So
We're honored. Thank you.
Dude, I just want to say I bought this on
Holy
Amazon.
crap,
I didn't
man.
think
You didn't realize it was this big.
This one
We're-
too.
Dude,
this is going to be
we're
everywhere.
gonna be cleaning the rest of the
Yo,
day.
Vlad was
Over.
so excited about this. He was like, "Yo, we're gonna do
was-
this.
it
It's gonna
was-
look amazing."
It was better than his first intro. His
I
introduction.
love how he didn't tell us when he was going to do it too.
No, after that first intro on the first episode, you're like, I gotta redeem myself. You went on Amazon, you bought this.
Dude, that thing my hand kind of hurts. Um,
Oh, it's in our water too.
My right ear's broken.
so Pasha's our good friend. I've known Pasha since high school. Murda just recently met him, like 6 months ago?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, same with
About
me.
6 yeah. About 6
My
months
life
ago.
has never been better.
We actually met once before.
I told you
Yeah,
this.
I did.
Yeah, we probably don't want to tell that story, but it was at a party
No.
like 2018 or something,
Yeah.
and everyone was
A pharmacy
in
student.
one.
Yeah, fair. So one of my good friends from pharmacy school had like a bit of a party, and I guess these guys came to it. I didn't know, like we didn't know each other at all.
No.
But you guys barely knew the host as well. You guys just like
You
knew a
showed
friend
up.
of a friend or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess we met a couple years ago, but doesn't really
It was
count.
meant to be full circle.
Yeah.
Meant to be.
I know exactly how they were walking around that party, too.
It was one
Um,
of those like typical student like houses. It was like pretty
UBC
rough. Yeah.
housing?
Dingy,
Oh my
yeah.
god, man! And they were probably paying like
They
the
had,
most
like-
ridiculous rent for
They
it too.
had bungs on the shelf. It was like it was.
They had
was
what
one of
on the
those-
shelf?
Yeah, like they had like.
Dude,
yeah.
it was a huge house, and like I think it was like 5 or 6 students like lived in it, all in different rooms.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, dude, it was a huge house. Like that was like a nice house. You should see where we
Yeah.
were living, dude.
Yeah.
You saw where we were in like a basement, like
Where?
a dungeon.
In Kelowna, right?
No, at UBC here.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Oh,
So
you
just
lived
the
on Res?
background, you went to UBCO and then you transferred to UBC?
Yeah, so I did 3 years at UBCO in Kelowna, which was great. Like
And undergrad was in.
well, I knew right away. I did like the first year courses,
Yeah.
which is like whatever, like chem, bio.
You were sciences.
Yeah, sciences. And then, but like by the time second year came out, I already knew I wanted to go into pharmacy school. So I just looked at the prereqs and I just took the prereqs.
Right.
So I didn't have like a major or a minor or anything like that. So I just like organized it. And you could bang it out in 2.5 years, like all the prereqs, if you were super organized. But there was one course that UBCO didn't offer. You had to take it in third year. So I had to like do an extra semester anyway. So that's how
Oh,
like I just split everything up. I had like fewer classes each semester. So
And how did you choose pharmacy?
so I like okay, so this is kind of what we want to dive into is like my parents are like, oh, you gotta become a doctor or a lawyer or so like I'm sure you guys probably
Yeah, of
similar
course.
similar
Team
type
with
of
thing.
thing.
grandparents.
So but you can't really blame them though, man. Like
They
they don't
anything
know.
different.
They don't know. Like that's kind of what they grew up on. But so I was like okay, like I gotta go down the healthcare kind of route. So I did my like cookie cutter science courses. I knew I had to go into sciences.
When you were in the courses, were you like, this is whack? Why
Dude,
am
so,
I
okay,
even studying this?
so-
Like barely able to pay attention.
So, dude, first I wanted to become a dentist. So I did like in I think grade 11 or 12, I volunteered at a dental clinic, and I was like, this is so boring. Like I like it didn't translate to me how this could make money.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of weird because I didn't have an understanding of how money is made. And then I volunteered at a pharmacy. And that was a little bit more interesting to me because I'm like, oh, they're selling a product, so they must be making money. I didn't understand like how a service at this point. I didn't even understand how a service could translate into money. But I was like, oh, these guys, this seems like a pretty chill job. Like they're just like talking to patients, they're talking to different people, they're ringing stuff through the counter. I was like, oh, that's how money's made. Like, so volunteered at dental clinic. I'm like, I prefer the pharmacy route, and it was less schooling. So I was like, I'm just gonna get in there and then
Call a doctor. Wake.
How old were you where you did this like shadowing kind of thing?
grade 10 and 11, I think.
Oh,
I was
so in
I
high
was
school.
early.
You don't
yeah.
even know what's going on at that point.
Yeah,
I
you don't
remember.
know about anything. Like
I remember being at Collier's in grade 11 or 12 for like a work placement, and I had no idea what was going on at all. I was like, people are in offices. What are they doing in these offices?
Dude, yeah.
And you think everyone that's older than you is like so much more professional, but as you get to their age, you're like, no, like everyone's just figuring it out too.
And Pasha, correct me if I'm wrong. So grade 10 to 12, you were looking for stuff. Healthcare profession, it was only like pharmacy, dentist, or
Doctor.
doctor, right?
Dude, you didn't know about any of the
Only those
positions
three,
at the
right?
hospital. Like, there's so many
Yeah.
different routes that make way more sense than those like 4 or 5 options.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. But like the one thing that I really want to mention is like for younger people, if you're going into healthcare, make sure you actually like you have to realize you are literally dedicating your life to helping people. Like people think that you're going into healthcare to make money, like to make good money. You can make like pretty decent money,
If
especially
you
if you
don't love it, you're gonna burn out.
it's not even that, dude. Like physicians, pharmacists, like these are like you think they're very high paying jobs, but in reality they really aren't.
For the amount of time that they work.
The liability,
you're-
the risks.
The investment, you're investing like
Investment.
7 years if you're going to pharmacy. You're
That's
investing
crazy.
7 years
in
up
what?
front.
That's like $100,000.
At least 100K.
Yeah.
So you're 100K in the hole. You're 7
Plus the
years in
money
hole.
lost as well, right? You're not
Everything.
making money either, right?
Dude, pharmacists make like now it's increased a little bit in the like lower mainland area. Pharmacists are probably making like 45, 46 bucks an hour right now. So that's not like a very high, it's a high paying job, but it's not like a business. It's not like anything you can grow. You're showing up, you're making that money, and you might make $5 more throughout your career, but that's what you're making. Like that's the range.
But it
there.
has job security.
It's
Right?
got-
And I think for many, job security is key, right?
It is. It definitely is. But my point is, if you're going to healthcare, definitely don't go into it with the mindset of, I'm going to be making a lot of money. You're going to be in, even the way the career paths are set up, you are dedicating yourself to other people. Like a pharmacist, when you're working, everyone that comes in is sick. Everyone that comes in is not happy. You're dealing with a bunch of ill people and you're trying to help them out all day long. So you gotta,
I've had the debate in my mind, like not really debate because I didn't go to school for 4 years, but like going to school for what's Jesus Christ, shit's everywhere. Going to school for 7 years.
Amazing idea, Vlad.
Well,
Going
you
to
know, let's
school-
clean this up, right?
Going to school for 7 years and then you're like what $100-something thousand in debt. To me, I always thought like I would rather not go in school and just play with $100,000 and see what happens. I feel like that's
and then go broke.
dude.
But,
Dude,
but
like,
no,
no,
I
but
wasn't.
like-
I
but at
wasn't.
least-
That thought never even came to my mind.
Really?
Like, see, that's
like
what I
I
mean.
was
That's
telling
that's
you-
why I'm trying to like if especially younger people are watching it, like let them know about this because we didn't like,
No.
dude, $100,000 to me, like when I was in grade 12 or grade
It
11,
was also worth a lot more back then.
dude. But even the
But it's also
thought,
just
the
a number
thought
to
of
you.
a
It's just a number.
$100,000, you're like, dude, what? Like $100,000?
Think about it.
It's ridiculous.
If
Like-
you had not gone to school and had invested that $100,000 into an apartment that could Airbnb, the amount of money that would have tenfolded by now.
But
Insane.
But let me I want to bring up one point. Like we're not bashing on like
No.
these
No.
healthcare
But
um,
don't do it for the intent
of making money.
That's the
if
point.
if you really like it, right? If you really like it and you like helping people, money will come with it probably.
that's any
But
career
the
though.
intent should be helping
Coming-
people.
dude,
and
coming from 3 guys not in healthcare.
Dude, I know,
Hey,
like
I did kinesiology. I saw what my classmates were walking into, and no offense, the majority of them are not making anything right now.
that's what
Right?
I mean.
And they have debt, and sure, they have ambitions to become X, Y, and Z. And I think for those that are doing it for the right reasons, because hey, I've always wanted to be a chiropractor, I've always wanted to be a physiotherapist, doctor, whatever. That's fine.
they're
but if
happy actually.
They're happy at it,
Yeah.
and that's fine. But if you're going into it thinking that like, hey, I'm gonna become an occupational therapist because I can make X amount of money, that is the wrong mentality.
Yeah, if you're only looking at the dollar sign
Dude.
and not looking at the job,
Let me put it for you this way. So right now I'm working as a sales rep. So what I do, I see about like 10, 15 doctors a day. Like majority are like family physicians. And dude, the number of doctors that are practicing right now and they're so upset about like their career. Like so basically how it works, how I was explained by several doctors is that they make $30 per patient that they see. Okay? So
what, 15-minute visit,
something like
10,
that.
10, 15 minutes, yeah.
But dude, like they're just trying to pump through as many
Yeah.
patients as they can, right?
That's why they see you for like a minute.
Dude,
They're
a
like,
third of that is
"What's
going to
wrong?"
overhead. A third of that
Okay,
is going to
yeah.
overhead, right?
Yeah.
So they're looking at $20 a patient. So think about how many patients you have to see in a day to be able to make some good money. Like,
Yeah. And the quality keeps going down and
Oh,
down and down.
and they're all bitching about it. Like
Yeah.
that's I go into offices, half of them are just bitching, like, dude, like this is a terrible profession, like we're getting destroyed. That's why like I say if you're gonna go into it because you love it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
So on that topic, okay, so finances aside, what would you say to those that are going into healthcare, especially let's say positions that put a doctor symbol in front of you,
Dude.
right, for status purposes?
oh, for me, like people in my grad class even know this. I don't care at all about like that. Like
That's you aside, but do you think the majority of your classmates, do you think
I-
a lot of them are doing it because they want to be called a doctor?
I don't know, man. Like I think some do and some don't, but um it's hard to tell. Like for me, I didn't care at all. But again, I
Didn't
don't
care
know.
about what.
Being
Like-
called a doctor.
Oh,
Yeah, like
that's
to,
surprising.
to me it didn't matter, but to some people it does, I guess. And that's like I don't know, that's a personal thing. I can't really comment
Like
on
people
that.
that board the plane and they're like, "Can we please see Dr. Alvani over
Yeah,
here?"
Well, it's
dude,
an
like
ego
that-
thing.
that-
You know,
yeah,
when you're
it's-
checking for a hotel, right? You're doctor or Mr. or Mrs., right?
Yeah.
Right? You can have doctor, and I think that we were talking about that last time, where I feel like at least our culture, there's a lot of emphasis and pride put into that. You know, those
Dude, let me put it for you this way. For
letters.
me, so pharmacy used to be a bachelor program, and it was probably like half the price of the doctor program. If I could get away with taking that old program and getting the same job that I could right now, I would do it. Like that's how much I care about it. But some people definitely go into it for that. But dude, my number one advice would be for like younger people if they're going into healthcare is volunteer a lot, like a lot.
exposure.
The last thing you want to do is do 7 to 8 years of schooling and then you get into the actual profession. You're like,
Kinda
I don't.
like
You're
a
like, I don't
baby,
like
right?
this.
Like you don't know anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't like
Yeah.
this.
Do
So-
your research.
So,
You're
so
screwed.
that aside, do you think in high school were you told at all that there are other ways to make a living?
Oh man, it's brutal. You don't know about anything. You don't know. I didn't know about anything. I knew about maybe like 5 or 6 jobs. I remember sitting in
Counselor's office.
not even a counselor's office. We had a computer room, and
Yeah.
there was I think it was a class for like career planning. So you sit in there and you just like punching different jobs into this computer system, and it would tell you how much they make. And I swear, I was like, oh, engineer, dentist, doctor. Like it was like 4 things I put in there. I didn't even know there was other career paths out there. And I think like things like this are really nice because you can expose. Like I know the lineup of people you guys have coming through, and like you can see all the different avenues that there are to go down. And like people need that, especially in high school. Like younger people, man, we didn't know. Like I didn't know. You guys probably went into school for like you guys say you're on healthcare, right?
We thought I like me and him both thought this is the only path you take. I don't have the math skills to be an engineer. I must take science or kinesiology.
That's exactly how it
That's it.
happened to me. I couldn't do
That's it.
math. I couldn't do calculus. I
God
was like,
forbid
I'm
you
out.
did arts, right? Oh, right?
Oh, dude. Yeah, don't get me
so
don't
you
get
know,
me
like
started on that, man.
Not there's anything wrong with
No,
that.
okay.
Yeah, there
Get
is.
out
What
of
do
the
you mean?
house.
What do you mean there's nothing
Like
wrong
people
with
that
it?
study rocks.
Oh, rocks. I thought you said an arts
I said
degree.
arts
Yeah,
degree.
arts,
Yeah,
yeah,
no,
but also
arts.
Yeah,
people
yeah.
that just study rocks.
Well, they like it. If they like it, you can't. How do you like an arts degree? What is it? I don't understand.
No, but I think it just I think from like I know schools like Harvard and right when you go for your undergrad, there's no you go for the first year as a general student.
Yeah,
Right?
and you get
And I think-
rinsed for like
Sure, but
200K.
right, but I think being exposed to things is
Right.
the key here, right? Like
Right.
I remember when I graduated and I was studying to go to law school, I was taking the LSAT, and I was like, I do not want to do this. So I started networking with any profession that I could I wanted them to tell me not to go to law school just because I wanted to hear from someone. And then B, I wanted to hear their story because I could never understand some guy who was like some vice president, some random company. I could never wrap my brain around like, what did you study to be this position?
Right.
Like, I don't understand how you studying political sciences put you to like some sort of commercial real estate or whatever, right? So understanding that, okay, wow, there are other steps that you can take as long as you're taking the right steps in the right direction, meeting the right people, eventually you'll get to places that will make you successful.
Right.
Let's also talk about how you can have a full-time job, let's say in pharmacy, making whatever 35, 45 an hour, but don't forget about the side investments that you should have to like further propel yourself, especially in a city like Vancouver where everything's so expensive.
Well,
Even if you make 200K, you're not living the same 200K lifestyle like you
10
would in
years ago.
Texas.
no, dude.
Or that.
Or
yeah.
in Texas, yeah. Like if you're making 200K, you're not you're not driving like the nicest car even or the coolest apartment or even affording a house because you have to work extra hard. So even if you're making, let's say, like 70K a year, you should have a side hustle or a side investment that works out to make more monthly income.
Here's the other thing about
And
that.
sorry, I was gonna bring up the fact that your dad bought that warehouse, right? You bought a fraction of the warehouse, or how'd
You
that work?
invested-
Dude,
you
this-
invested
this-
with them,
this is
right?
this is what I was about to say. Like another point of like that. Okay, so let me just bring it back, and then I'll come back to
Okay.
that. So like there's students in my class. Like there's levels. Like there's people who really love pharmacy. They really love healthcare, and the level that they like practice at is much higher than other people. Like the way they treat patients in the hospital. Like there's hospital pharmacy, which is like for students who really like clinical stuff, and there's community, and there's people who want to start their own businesses. But my point was, if you really love it, you're gonna be way more involved in it, and that's why I'm saying from the start, you got to volunteer, make sure you really love it, because there's people who are like geniuses in my grad class, man. Like these kids are so smart, and to tie that into it, you got to understand that if you're going into a program where you're gonna be, unless you have some like additional help from your parents or something like that, you're gonna be down like $100,000-$200,000. You're not gonna have the opportunity to make
Oh, yeah.
plays like that,
That's true,
to
yeah.
like put money into investments, or like,
Because
you
your
know,
borrowing power is tied up in a student debt.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're screwed. So like what I did is I got like with healthcare students, you get like big lines of credits. Like they throw like lots of line of credits at you. And I'm really thankful that my parents were like able to help with a lot of my undergrad schooling, and I was able to kind of use like that line of credit, especially when
To
like
invest?
to invest and do
Yeah.
a bunch of different things.
Which I don't think you're allowed to do. But
No, you can
Yeah,
do
you
it.
are.
However, you can do
You
whatever
are.
you want with
can
that
do
money.
whatever you want with it.
I remember, you know, a
crazy
lot.
how
Yeah, go
they'll give like a student, like they'll be like, oh yeah, here's $100K, and like, oh, but I want to get a car. It's like, no, you can't. But you can take out a loan for like $100,000 to go to school,
Yeah,
but you
dude,
can't.
dude.
You can't.
I think
buy
correct me if I'm
anything
wrong.
else.
Like med students can get like
A
250.
lot.
I think it's like
and
250 grand. They
and
can
me,
pull.
I remember Michael and I were talking about it, like, because we have a friend in med school, and just I think they're not educated usually.
I wasn't
how
either.
to
Financially,
invest.
yeah.
I wasn't either,
Financial,
man. Like,
you know, literacy is so low.
I mean,
Where-
you gotta realize, man. Up to that point, what kind of financial education have you had?
nothing. That's what
Nothing.
I mean.
Luckily, your dad was like, yo, I'm buying this. Use some of your line, which is a
100%
move.
best
Yeah.
decision you probably made.
And it was lucky, man. Like I didn't know anything about it, but like, so for example, these guys. So the warehouse was we had like a warehouse for one of our businesses that my parents are involved with, and they wanted to move it into like a new warehouse. And actually, like, so me and Murdad met, like we met a couple times, but we didn't really know each other like that. And like for me, I'm really good at like getting a feel of people right away when I meet them. And when I met you like the first couple times, I wasn't getting like a feel on you at all, to be honest. Like I was like
A
I was like
robot.
what's the vibe with him? Like I can't figure it out. And then so we were gonna do a tenants improvement. We were gonna like enlarge the space that we had.
It was a massive warehouse.
You weren't going to enlarge it. You were going to utilize it better.
We were gonna add like
You
a
were gonna
second floor
Build.
to it.
Okay, true.
essentially.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're going to build out.
It was a blank canvas that
offices.
was brand new.
Yeah. So the business wanted to do that. So we call. I knew you guys were doing construction. So I was like, you guys need to come through and like take a look at this place and see if you guys can
Yeah.
like do it for us. And then you guys came in, and we were telling them, we were like, hey, we might like just end up selling this place. Like the company might just end up selling this place and not like move the business into it. So we had like a couple people come, and then you guys came, and then you're like, dude, don't do anything to it. You're like, it would have been a pretty big
At least a $300,000-$400,000
job
been a
for
lot
you
of money.
guys, and then you're like, don't do it. You guys don't need it. If you guys just like sell it like the way it is, it'd probably be better off.
But sell it the way it is because you already had approved plans, right?
Yeah, and that's
so
why I told
if
him, like,
someone
the value was
Yeah.
in the architectural drawings, right?
Right, and getting it
you
approved
had already
by the
gone
city,
to
right?
the
Get
city
approved,
and
yeah.
got
Get a
approved.
building permit ready to go. And I tell a lot of my clients that want to do flips or want to build a brand new home and they don't have the funds for it, and they're stretching their financial dollar on it. I'm like, you've done all the grunt work. You this is the value. Sell it as it is. Move on to the next project.
Right. And like the fact that you guys said that, because I already knew Vlad, but you were like, you told me that right off the bat. I was like, this guy's solid. Like you could have just let us do it, and you would have made a bunch of money off
That
of
would
it,
have made
right?
a shit ton of money.
You would have made a shit ton of money off of it. But
I
like,
remember in the
and-
car after, and I was like, "Yo, I know I did the right
called
decision."
me, bro.
Yeah, I was like, I know I made the right decision, but damn, I lost on a lot of money.
But
Right
dude,
now.
the thing is like
Oh,
people.
but what goes around comes around.
Dude, I was gonna say,
100%.
like the next time we have a project, like you're gonna be the first guy we call, like for sure, right? So and people are gonna hear this, and they're gonna know the type of guy you are, and that's like how I found out the type of guy you are. That was like the first time I was like, oh, this guy's super solid, because I was like, I didn't really know you too well before that, and I was like, if he does something like that, like you know the type of guy he is. So
Again, and I think that's what we're trying to improve with the construction industry is just putting people ahead of money, right? I think making sure that we're seeing people and we're valuing not only, everything they bring to the table, but also their financials, right? You're giving us your biggest investment. It deserves the utmost respect. And we want to make sure that not only we make money, but you make money,
Right.
and that the relationship can just grow and blossom to the next project.
what else can you ask for? That's what you need.
So
Pasha,
okay,
what's
so yeah,
ahead.
so change the subject. Pasha, you graduated. What made you get into the sales
the job that
position
you're at right now?
that you are right now, rather than a traditional pharmacy position?
Right. So in pharmacy school, I think most healthcare professions are like this. You do practicums every summer. So from year one, like when year one ends that summer, you do a practicum at like a community pharmacy. And then I got exposure to like several different practicums. So community pharmacy, hospital pharmacy, and then there was this one that was called academic detailing. It was the provincial academic detailing team. So what they do is, so they're a group of pharmacists that basically go to physicians. They book time with physicians and they teach them about new guidelines, new medications. They basically just educate like most likely older physicians who are kind of out of the loop of everything new that's happening. They have certain topics that they really study up on, and then they go and they teach those physicians about it. And out of all the practicums I did, like I really enjoyed hospital pharmacy, and I really enjoyed that one. I didn't enjoy community pharmacy because I was like, we're just chasing like script money basically is what they're doing. They're just trying to get $10 a script, right? So and you can always like invest into something like that if you really wanted to. But I like pharmacy I like hospital pharmacy, super clinical, and I liked academic detailing because it was just like a fun thing. You're like talking with new people, you're like teaching people a couple new things, and it's more like relationship building than anything else. You gotta get to know the doctor so they come in and book times with you and talk. The issue with getting into that is that it's a very small team in BC, and you got to have some clinical like experience, so like working at a hospital or something like that. So then I started looking around like in the pharmaceutical industry, seeing like what other positions there are, and sales is pretty similar. The only difference is that you have a certain product that you're trying to, versus guidelines, you're basically you're selling a product, or you're teaching doctors about a product and which patients might be good for that product, versus like an entire healthcare guideline. For example, teaching the doctors all about migraines, I'm just teaching them about my product. So it's kind of similar.
In sales, I remember when I was in high school, I worked at Best Buy, and I hated selling because I was selling protection plans that I didn't think clients really needed. Like, buy AppleCare, don't buy Best Buys, right?
Cool.
So do you feel like, I'm not sure what drug you sell, but do you believe in the actual product? Like you're like, this is legit, therefore can you portray your interest in the product to the people that you're selling to?
Dude, the good thing, so I'm very new to it. So I'm on like it's like my first pharmaceutical sales, but it's different than like, first of all, it's different than any other type of sales. There's no hard close. There's never no point where you're like, okay, I sold this one thing. You're more like promoting the drug and teaching the doctor about the drug so that when the patient comes through their door, they know about the drug, that when the correct patient comes in, they know it. And I got really lucky with my company is like the 3 drugs that I do are very, very solid drugs. And like I do Blexten, for example. It's an antihistamine. Like a lot of people take it. Like a lot of people know about it already. It's a very, very good drug.
Not sponsored by Blitz.
No, not sponsored by Blexten. I am. Use it. No, kidding. But yeah, the 3 drugs are really, really solid, and you're basically just showing the data behind the drugs and showing.
But if there are any physicians watching, Pasha's phone number will be in the
we'll link it in the below.
Yeah,
Doctors,
right
please,
here.
please, we're trying to hit bonuses. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, no, they're all super solid products, and there's never any hard closes, which is nice with like a job like that, because you don't want to feel like you're like selling
Yeah,
a
the worst
doctor
You're
part
not a
is when
pushy person.
Yeah, exactly. You're equipped, you're giving them the knowledge for when that patient walks in, and then
Right.
they can prescribe it when that
Right.
patient
and
corrects
just to make sure that it's always in their head space when
they know about, because they might
to
not
know
know
about
about it. Like a drug comes out, how would you, as a practicing doctor, how would you know about new things that are coming out?
unless you're
Unless
really in
You
it.
spend your own time doing it. And that
Yeah.
again ties back into doing something you like, because the best doctors take the time out of they take their free time and they are constantly researching learning more, right? And you have to do that as a doctor.
I guess that's a good avenue to look at. Like if if you're younger and you're not sure if you're passionate about something, like what are you spending your free time on? And it could be anything. It could be like making videos. It could be like, I don't know, studying about real estate, construction. As long as you're spending your free time on it, imagine if you're getting paid to do it.
So, Dr. Alvani, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I don't know. Like I just recently graduated, probably like under a month ago. So I just started this new
Okay, and how old are you?
25.
Okay.
So there's a position that I really like. Like I know one of my friends, Pavan, shout out to Pavan. He's doing I think he's getting interviewed right now for this position. It's called a medical science liaison. It's a good it's kind of like sales, but again, you're talking about the products more. You're not trying to like sell anything to anyone.
You're guiding them through it.
It's
So
within
like,
the pharmaceutical
yeah.
industry, so I'm trying to like go down that path. But like I'm like super thankful that I'm like surrounded by like guys like you guys who are like super business minded, and you guys are getting me like caught up with like investment in real estate, things like that. And I'm trying to do as much as I can outside of my career, because I know that as long as I'm putting in my hours within my career, that'll kind of work itself out. But as I've seen like my parents and other people, like most successful people, they have like they're working on several different things at once.
It also keeps you sharp and engaged, and it makes life more exciting.
Exactly.
Like-
yeah.
Like
when you're
after
doing-
work, if you're off at 3-4 o'clock, what are you gonna do from 4 to midnight? Really?
Yeah.
There's only so much Netflix
and-
and like gym
and,
that you
like,
can do.
even the past like couple of months with like Airbnbs and stuff, I'm sure you guys will do like a whole episode probably on that. But like you guys have taught me so much about that stuff that I would have never known about it. Like where else would I
Yeah.
have learned unless I
Mhm.
had like friends who know about it, right? So you guys like real estate and stuff like that, you guys have put me on so much that I'm like trying to get involved in that as much as possible. Yeah, trying to go down different. I got a couple other things I'm working on, but like
do you
different
think you're going to
avenues.
be in healthcare in 5 years?
Yeah.
I think so. I think like
To some extent.
to some extent, for sure. Whether that's like a business revolving around it or being involved in it directly.
So you enjoy helping people?
I do enjoy helping people, but I definitely do enjoy. I'm a really competitive guy. I like the competitive side of business. Like
Yeah.
that's what really like gets me excited. Whenever
Like you're competitive, but just knowing you and who you are, I think being competitive, but also being so charismatic probably can push you so far in front of everyone else, right? Especially if you're not coming
Because
after
you don't care to approach a situation.
Exactly.
Whereas the reason people are successful really is their stupid confidence. I think that's their stupid confidence and their ability to work really hard. Those two combined get you like so far.
dude, I've seen people.
And you have stupid confidence.
I actually
you're not
don't, I
stupid.
actually don't think I do, man. I just think I'm like a goofy guy, and I think I'm like funny. I don't think I'm super confident. I know guys that like, dude, I know people that step into rooms, and I'm like, dude, you don't even like, you shouldn't even
You
be
don't even read.
cleaning the carpets of this place that you're in right now. Like, I don't understand how you're in this room. Like, but
they
just
move the whole room around.
that's what
them.
I mean. Just because of their confidence, like
Yeah.
that's like the most important. I actually
But that
don't
gets
think,
them places.
And like
oh, definitely,
yeah.
dude.
like I always tell my little brother, like looking back in like high school, fake it till you make it. right?
It's the most important
It's
thing.
the most important thing. If you're not comfortable, make yourself somewhat comfortable. Just fucking do it, right?
Oh,
Figure
dude.
out a way to push past that fear and just go for it.
And also the confidence, also charisma is kind of attached to confidence, and being able to make a sale. If you're confident, if you have charisma, you're more likely to make a sale, more of an impact on people around you, right?
And people just want to then be around you. So like I have clients and that I think, I've gained great relationships with them after the projects are done because, like they want to just be around you, right? You show them a good person, and sure, you made money along the way. They got a great product at the end, but at the end of the day, you're two people or whoever that you just vibed well with.
Right. Yeah.
right?
No, definitely.
And you're at the end of the day, you're selling yourself.
No, that's true. Wait, let me flip it on you guys now. So for both of you, I'm the host now. What are your 5-year, like where do you guys see both your businesses in 5 years, and
And
what are your
keep it under a minute 30.
Go for it. You go first.
In 5 years, so okay, I see myself still owning the business that I have now, but not being a part of it day to day. Maybe like once every few weeks, and I'll have like a GM manage it with like a project manager. But I want to get into development. So whether that's like probably not. I mean, depends on what the market's like in 5 years. We have no idea, right? But most likely probably closer up north, like Kelowna, Kamloops. Build spec homes, not like custom homes. I don't want to work with directly with the customer. I kind of want to have free range on what I want to build, and then like get into development and more so manage my own projects.
Nice.
And of course,
Okay.
on the side, you have other things, right? Like maybe have like a couple rental properties and so on. So
Okay.
Yeah, similar. Obviously, I want to grow the business to a point where it's more autonomous and we're doing, multifamily homes developments. But for those that know me, I'm really big into Airbnbs. Having those ventures on the side, just growing that portfolio is huge for me. But at the same time, things like this, like podcasts and social media, and just educating people and showing the world what I love is truly my passion. Like I love, like for me to go build someone's house or their bathroom or whatever it is fun. But the next 6 hours I go home and I'm making content out of it is where I love, right? And trying to grow this platform, which is like that's why I'm so excited about this podcast.
your personal brand.
My personal brand, like that's everything, right? Because I want to be known as the guy that can truly not only help you on camera and off camera. Like we didn't have a camera when I told you to not, build that warehouse. That's me. And if I can show a camera on that and hopefully educate and better the construction industry as a whole,
So
I've done my part.
I was just going to ask you that. So like I know you do like a lot of Instagram like day-to-day stuff like on Instagram. How did you like was it a thought process behind that or you just like turn the cameras on, you're like let's get it going. How did that come about?
We're actually gonna have him on the podcast, but there's a insanely crazy social media platform that I don't want to bring it all up right now, but there's basically a guy that runs a really good channel on Instagram, and I met from coffee, and he pretty much sold me on being in front of the camera, right? Like your brand is one thing, showing photos is whatever, but if you're not educating your viewers, you're not going to be holding your viewers to anything. Like they're just there to look at photos. What's the point? If you can show who you are, why you're showing them, and the purpose behind it, and show passion behind it, that's everything. So there was one guy who really got me into it, and we're gonna have him on the podcast.
Nice.
Probably the next month or two.
Can't wait to
Nice.
catch that one.
Yeah.
That's a sick one.
Yeah.
So and do you see the direct correlation from the work you're putting in on the social media side to your business?
I think so. Like I think our social media platform is our new resume, right?
Yeah.
No one's really checking my website anymore, right? I'm like,
How-
why would you?
How many visitors do you get
Sorry,
on your website a month? How many visitors do you think you get?
100, 200 on
It's
our website.
nothing. And
I
on your
get-
Thousands and thousands.
I get
to
so
be
if
fair,
you look at my,
thousands of impressions.
I'm getting probably anywhere from 30 to 60,000 profile views a month.
Yeah.
That's
insane.
insane.
That's insane.
That's
That's
crazy.
so much
Like
better.
who are these people? You know what I
That's
mean?
crazy.
That's like the changing era, like websites are good to have for a certain generation, but our future customers are 30 and older now, and they're not going rescom drywallpainting.com. They're going on Instagram or the next future
The good
and
thing
Google
about
reviews.
the good thing about Instagram is that like you said, Marta, we haven't gotten a lot of direct clients from Instagram.
God,
But it's a long-term play.
a few,
Long-term
but
play.
it's a long-term plan. And also, like, if a client is like looking for construction business and our name comes up, they're gonna look it up and they see all that, like it's like a resume, right?
You also
And also,
Yeah.
like like you said, the next generation, people who are renovating their houses and building new houses, they're a little older. They're not the Instagram generation. They're like the Facebook MySpace generation, or even like older than that, who don't use social media. But in like 5 to 10 years, our generation will be the ones who have the purchasing power, right? And that's when all of this will
Come to fruition.
come to fruition.
I also don't think that you don't get clients directly from Instagram. No one DMs you being like, "Hey, great."
I've had a few.
I like, okay,
But-
hypothetically, but you've probably closed on deals because you're like, by the way, check out my page. I'm like, oh, this guy's legit. He's not just some dude who came in a car and spewed some crap out of his mouth. He actually has a true following and people trust him with their work. So you've closed deals indirectly that way.
For sure. And I always say, like, my clients that I have love it because when they're at work, they don't know what's happening at their house. Go on my social media, go on my Instagram, TikTok. You see exactly what's happening to your house that exact moment.
That's a good. What if
They
it's
love seeing accountability, and to the point of accountability is that think about how much, like if I tile your wall, you have no clue what happened behind it in a shower. I'm showing you the demo, the waterproofing, the roughings for the plumbing. I'm showing you the finished product. I must be doing a good job if I'm willing to show you exactly
Yeah.
what's going into
But
it.
You're not hiding
here's
anything.
Nothing's being
here's where
hidden.
things turn. You burn that house down, and it's on TikTok, man. You're done.
Hey,
What do you mean? There's inspections.
Live and
throughout
learn.
there's
there.
inspections.
There's
And that's the
inspections.
thing,
Can
right?
you imagine the
That-
house is going down to Murdad with TikTok?
Our new fire
That exact
renovation.
moment.
But no, and that's the thing, right? There are pros and cons to it, but that's why we're willing to put everything out on the table.
Transparency,
Transparency
yeah.
is everything. And in today's era, right? Consumers are smart. Consumers are self-aware. They understand the value of things. And if I can show you where your dollar is going so clearly, then what are you going to question? There's nothing, right? I'm
Yeah.
showing you everything.
No, definitely. No, that's
Like, what's waterproofing? Go to October 3rd's post. You'll see everything. Oh, was my house? Did you guys firecaulk the piece of baseboard or with that drywall there? Go to September 2nd.
literally
It's
on
right there.
video. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, well, I think on that bombshell, we'll end this podcast. We'll keep it short and sweet.
No
Pasha,
more.
thank
No more
you so much.
explosions.
I have no more explosions. Unless, no, I don't. We're gonna spend the next 3 hours cleaning this up, and
Break out
You
the
are
vacuums,
going to-
boys.
stay
But-
tuned for next week.
Dude, what
I'm
a
not sure who we
mess.
have
What
planned
were you-
yet, but I'm sure it's gonna be a great guest. Any last words, Pash?
No, yeah. Thanks for
just-
coming out.
No, thank you guys. I'm choked right now about cleaning this up. Let me tell you.
Yeah. By the way, we
What,
make all our guests clean up after.
Get the break out the vacuums, boys.
Okay.
All
See you
right.
guys
Hey,
later.
thanks a lot.
Alright.
Thanks a lot, guys.
No problem.